is a 2011 French buddy comedy drama film written and directed by Olivier Nakae. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins at night in Paris. Philippe's Maserati Quattroporte is being driven at a high rate of speed by Driss. They are quickly being followed by the police, but Driss is undeterred and doubles down with Philippe, believing they can get an escort. Driss uses Philippe's quadriplegia as an excuse to justify his reckless speeding. Philippe poses as having a stroke, and the duped police officers ultimately accompany them to the hospital. Philippe wonders what they will do once the cops leave them at the hospital, and Driss responds, "Now let me take care of it," as they drive away. The story of the two men is then told as a flashback, which takes up almost the rest of the film. Philippe, a rich quadriplegic who owns a luxurious Parisian mansion, and his assistant Magali are interviewing candidates to be his live-in carer. Candidate Driss has no desire to be hired. He is only there to get a signature certifying that he was interviewed and rejected. In order to continue receiving welfare benefits, he flirts with Magali openly and in an incredibly casual manner. He is instructed to return the next morning to pick up his signed letter. Driss returns to the tiny apartment he and his large family occupy in a desolate Parisian district. After not hearing from him for 6 months, his aunt gives him the order to leave the apartment. The following day, Driss returns to Philippe's estate and discovers. He learns the extent of Philippe's disability and then accompanies Philippe in every moment of his life. He follows Philippe around and is amazed to see a totally different way of life. According to a friend of Philippe, Driss has a criminal history that includes serving 6 months in prison for robbery. Philippe states he does not care about Driss's past because he is the only one that does not treat him with pity or compassion, but as an equal. He says he will not fire him as long as he does his current job properly. Driss and Philippe get closer over time. Driss does his duty in tending to his employer, who frequently experiences phantom pain. Driss learns from Philippe that his paragliding accident left him crippled and that his wife passed away childless. Driss gradually persuades Philippe to impose some discipline in his personal life, including being stricter with his adoptive daughter Alyssa, who acts like a spoilt child around the employees. Driss learns about opera, traditional and modern art, and even starts painting. For Philippe's birthday, a private concert of classical music is performed in his living room. Driss is initially quite resistant to Philippe's music, but he eventually convinces him to listen more carefully. Then Driss plays Philippe his favorite song, Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind and Fire, which encourages everyone in the room to start dancing. Driss discovers that Philippe has a purely epistolary relationship with a woman called Eleanor, is through letters. Philippe is reluctant to meet Driss because he worries about how she will respond when she knows about his handicap. Philippe is eventually encouraged to call Eleanor by Driss. Driss convinces Philippe to give her a picture of him in a wheelchair, but Philippe hesitates and asks his assistant Yvonne to send a picture of him before the accident. Eleanor and Philippe decide on a date. Before Eleanor arrives, Philippe decides last minute that he is too nervous to see Eleanor and leaves with Yvonne. Then Philippe phones Driss and asks him to fly with him in his private plane for a weekend of paragliding. Philippe gives Driss an envelope containing 11,000 euros, the amount he was able to get for Driss's painting, which he sold to one of his friends by saying it was from an up-and-coming artist. Adama, Driss's younger cousin, takes refuge in Philippe's mansion after getting into trouble with a gang. Driss confesses in Philippe about his family and his childhood in France after being adopted by his then childless aunt and uncle as an orphan in Senegal. After his uncle passed away and his aunt had additional children, his adoptive parents started having their own children. Philippe relieves Driss from his work after recognizing his need to provide for his family and makes the comment that he may not want to push a wheelchair all his life. Driss rejoins his friends in the suburbs and manages to help his younger cousin. He obtains work with a transport company as a result of his recent professional experience. Philippe has now hired carers to take Driss' place, but he isn't satisfied with any of them. When he loses motivation, he stops taking care of himself. Yvonne becomes worried and contacts Driss, who shows there and chooses to take Philippe in the Maserati, returning the plot to the film's opening police chase scene. Driss immediately drives Philippe to the beach when they manage to avoid the cops. Philippe and Driss come at a Caberg restaurant with a beautiful ocean view after shaving and getting dressed stylishly. Driss quickly gets up from the table and wishes Philippe luck on his lunch date. Eleanor shows up a little while later, but Philippe is still unable to understand. Philippe is moved to tears when he looks out the window and sees Driss smiling at him. As the movie comes to a close, Driss bids Philippe